Hello everyone, I'm the Geek Master. Welcome to my newest video. And the main bit is going to be pickups for about probably the last 2 to 3 months, I imagine. It's been that long, I can't remember. There won't be everything shown. But what I will say is that I've taken a selection of items, some game-based, some not game-based. Partly because that's what I've been getting, partly to reflect a couple of things that have changed in the last couple of months. And I think they're cool to show, to be honest. But I think there's something for most people here, hopefully. We've got some handheld games, we've got some console games, we've got some, well, non-gaming items, really. So we'll get into them in a minute. As for an update, I have 2.5 weeks off work in a couple of weeks. I will be going out hunting for games, but I'll also be looking for anime, manga, other odd bits I might find in charity shops or game shops or whatever, because trust me, they are out there. I've got some random stuff. I really have. Maybe I'll show you one day. Yeah. There's been one big thing from the collecting point of view, which is I started something else, which I'll get to in a minute. And that's why this looks a bit different. So I've had to rearrange the shelves to cater for it. Yeah. And the other thing that ties in with that is I've really just cut down my internet and technology use. I'm not online on anything anywhere near as much as I was. I've got rid of pretty much all my social media, keeping the channel, but pretty much everything else is gone. So if you can't find my personal profile or anyone's for the channel, that's why. It was a decision I chose to make, so nothing happened, I just did it. Got to say though, I'm enjoying it much more. It feels so much better, not having to worry about God knows what spam, hacked profiles, battery usage even, or even just spending hours on my phone doing it. I feel so much better for it, and it's good to, I find, do stuff which requires my mind and my hands to, well, I guess use, rather than just technology or the internet. And I'll show you examples of that in a minute. And I've got to say, it's been a lot of fun, I have to admit it. Yeah. By the way, that isn't a rant anyone, it's just saying what I've done personally. Just before anyone says I'm saying you should do it, I'm not. I just chose to do that. Anyway, so one of the things that's come about because of that, and I'm glad I did because I've really enjoyed it. The only issue is space and cost, but what the hell? And it is that I have started collecting Lego, which is probably a terrible thing to do because it's not like I wasn't collecting enough stuff already. But yeah, and this, for those that aren't aware, is the Lego Death Egg robot from Sonic 2. I got this as a Christmas present, actually, from my brother. It's about 50 odd quid, I think. But by this point, I already had 2 or 3 sets. I bought the original Lego Ideas Green Hill, which looks like it's actually from Sonic 1 on the Mega Drive. It's even got like the little bit in the corner which shows the lives, etc. I've got one which is an Amy Animal Rescue Centre with like a beach and a salon and a bar for some reason. Tails Workshop and the Tornado Plane. And I've got at least 1 or 2 more coming for my birthday in a couple of weeks. So, woo. And hopefully I'll release more. But in a way, I hope they don't because it'll save me money and space. But yeah, it's pretty cool. It's like this opens up to reveal Dr. Robotnik. It does fire stuff, but I'm not going to because it'll probably drop everywhere and I don't know where I'll find it. But it is pretty cool, I have to admit. Took a couple of hours or so to build. Additionally, I've started collecting Lego Star Wars, which is definitely a bad thing to do because there's so many of them. I really want the X-Wing. That's the one I want. I used to have the Droid Starfighter from Phantom Menace as a kid. And now I started Lego again, I kind of had to get Lego Star Wars. So I've got 2 of them. The first one was Darth Vader versus Obi-Wan Kenobi from the Obi-Wan series, which is pretty cool, but that's away at the minute. The other one I bought in the last week or so, 45 quid this cost, and it's a TIE bomber. Complete with a little bit that hangs underneath there. It actually does fire missiles from here, and of course, being the TIE bomber, it does drop bombs. So let's see if I can do it. There we go. And I fired both of them, whatever. It actually does have a little pilot in there as well. So pretty cool. Took me 3 or 4 hours to build, I think. The one that took the longest was the Lego Ideas Green Hill Zone, because that was fiddly as hell. So many small pieces. But you know what? I think it looks awesome. And it's something different, like something different to collect, something different to do. And it looks cool having the models around. I've got, I've rearranged the shelves, and now I've got a couple of Lego shelves, one for Star Wars and one for Sonic. I'll show them properly in the video one day. I'd like to give a shout out to Pete Fighter 2 for a background idea for my Sonic shelf. So I said that will be shown one day. But yeah, also this came with the TIE Bomber. It's a little gonk droid, because why not? To be fair, that's part of the reason I wanted it. I could have just bought that, it would have saved me like 40 or quid, but nah, I wanted the TIE Bomber as well. I think it looks cool. Yeah. So apparently I'm into Lego now. So I think my wallet and bank account are going to cry. It's just I'm really strict on where I can put stuff. I've got space for one I'm getting for my birthday for Sonic. I've managed to make space for that. I can put a bit more space in for the Star Wars, but I haven't got loads. But for now, I don't know a chance to put it away yet. Here's the box for the TIE Bomber. And yes, it says 48 quid, but I had a couple of quid off, so yeah. And here's the back. That looks so cool. And yes, there is a Vader. He is here. It's actually my second Vader, because obviously I got the one for the Darth Vader and Obi-Wan, and he just fell over. So never mind. So yeah, I'm into collecting Lego now. So yeah, I might not be doing as much on the internet or technology, but my bank account is going to cry instead. It probably already is. But anyway, I digress. Games. So I said I've got handheld, I've got non-handheld. So I'm going to start off with the handheld. And the first game is an absolute classic. It's probably one of, if not the game for the Game Boy. It is Tetris. Found it for, I think, £8 in CX just before Christmas. And it's like, well, I've got a Game Boy. You've got Tetris, haven't you, really? The original. So, yeah, it's good condition. I know it doesn't have the box, but for 8 quid, really happy with that. It hasn't yellowed, so, yeah. It is something else playing on Game Boy. If you've never done it, I highly recommend it. It's awesome. Actually got another Game Boy game. This one is boxed. I think this cost me £20 or £25, I think, from the Retro Hunter. I went there again, I think either just before or after Christmas. I think I went both, but I can't remember when I got this. It's complete, and it is Star Trek Generations Beyond the Nexus. So it's based on the 7th film, where Picard, him if you don't know, Patrick Stewart, and Kirk, William Shatner, meet up. So there's a couple of screenshots here. Let's see if I can get out the protector. I can't get out. There we go. A couple of screenshots there. I'm pretty sure that's actually a screen grab or Picard from the film. And I think, yeah, that's done on the Super Game Boy. So if you don't know, the thing lets you play Game Boy and the SNES. So I could give that a go one day, because I do have both of them. Just don't really ever use it. This is cool because it's complete. Got the book and the game in the plastic case. Now, I don't have many Game Boy games. To be fair, most of my Game Boy games are probably my Pokemon ones. But it's kind of something I've been wanting to get into a while, especially the boxed ones. But I've always said that if I do, it's got to be the right ones. I'm not just buying cheap Game Boy games for the sake of buying them. If I'm buying one, it's because I actually want the game. And in case you don't know, I am actually a Star Trek fan and have been for many, many years. I mean, admittedly, Voyager and DS9 are my favourites ahead of these. But I did watch a lot of Next Gen as a kid. Still watch it every now and then. And the last series of Picard, as in him, which came out last year, was awesome. and I bought the DVD, and I need to watch it again. And yes, I know it's on Amazon Prime, but I wanted the DVD because physical. Yeah, haven't tried this yet. I have got the film on DVD. I don't know if I've got it here though. Yes, here it is. That's the film. As you can see, you got Picard and Kirk. So yeah, and just in case anyone can't say, here and here are all Star Trek books. So if there's any doubt that I'm a Trekkie, there you go. So seemed a good game for me. I just mentioned Pokemon, so this is probably the big pickup of the actual video. This was 70 quid, I think. At first, I wasn't 100% sure it was legitimate. I suspected it was, and thanks to the people on the WhatsApp groups for confirming to me that yes, it does appear to be. Everything I've seen suggests it is. So I have Pokemon Platinum. So I had this when it came out, actually. So I must have had to sell mine, because I know I did have to do a few. Unfortunately, some of the ones that cost quite a bit. Soul Silver. But I'm still trying to get all the Pokemon games. So here's one I didn't have. And now I do have again. And it is complete. So that's awesome. It's even got the Club Nintendo card, which has been scratched off. Which makes a change, because when I normally find them now, they're not. There's the back. One thing about Platinum cases, it is very sparkly. I remember the original being sparkly like that, actually. It's quite cool, though. Quite a cool cover. And for those of you that aren't aware, Platinum is the third version of the 4th generation Diamond and Pearl, and focuses around the 3rd legendary Giratina, who is like the Lord of Antimatter. And he's some sort of ghost dragon. So, yeah, basically lives in a different universe, dimension thing, with weird physics and floating platforms, and yeah. Haven't actually played Platinum in God knows how long. Apart from spot random fishing on my brother's game, where you can find Magikarp of any level in one lake. Literally, you can find level 1, you can find level 50, you can find level 100 Magikarp. So yeah, I think my highest is a 98. Yeah, but I said still go through all the Pokemon games. I was keeping credit for it, but thought, you know what, I know I want Platinum. I'll buy it. I'll keep the credit for when I see something I'm not looking for, but I know I want. For example, I have my original Yellow, my original Silver, but now I want to focus on trying to get them boxed. So having the credit will help for if I suddenly find one of them. Instead of having to pay like 100 odd quid, or 200 quid even, I might have to pay half, or maybe even like 20 quid or something, depending on how much I get. Whereas I knew I wanted that. Doesn't even have to be Pokemon. There's a couple other games I want that are like 100 odd quid. So if I see them and I've got the credit, boom, I only suddenly lose 20 quid, whereas I half expected to lose 70. Was able to plan for it. Helped it straight after payday. Probably didn't help it straight after payday, because otherwise I wouldn't have done it, but there you go. But yeah, on a side note, this year I will be buying games, but I'm going to try and be a lot more focused this year. Like, not just buy... I mean, I've been going for ones that I want for a while, or ones for certain things, but I'm going to focus it even more now. So, Pokemon games, Sonic games, Zelda games, Yu-Gi-Oh games. I'm going for the old Japanese Game Boy Yu-Gi-Oh games. Box, of course. Quite a little collection right now. That sort of thing. Rather than just buying like, ooh, this looks good for like 5 quid even. So there probably won't be as many pickups this year game-wise. But there will be other stuff, and there will be some. And I am still going for the Nintendo 64 set. Talking of which, I do have 2 more I haven't shown, which I picked up at the gaming market. One of them courtesy of 2T UK. But they'll be in their own separate video to come as part of that 64 series I'm doing. So yeah, they'll come. And I said Yu-Gi-Oh! So we've got 2 games here. And one of them was from Retro Hunter. Possibly at the same time I got Star Trek, actually. And could be wrong though. And the other one is from CX. I think actually at the same time I bought Tetris, thinking about it. So we'll go with the first one, the Tetris one, which is for the PSP, and it's Yu-Gi-Oh! GX Tag Force, which as far as I know is a 2-on-2 dueling game. I've got one of these in Japanese. I think it's number 5. But I've been looking for I only bought that because A, I like Japanese games, B, I like Yu-Gi-Oh! And C, I wanted to try one of them, it was cheap. But then I found this for £8 in CX at the same time as Tetris. So I paid 24 quid in CX, got Tetris, got this, and got an anime I've been looking for a long time. So I'm quite happy with that. Just not good to spend 25 quid right before Christmas, but there you go. There's the back. Didn't get the cards though. What we got? Oh, I think they're Phantom Beasts, if I remember rightly. There's over nearly 2,500 cards though. So that's pretty cool. But if there's only nearly 2,500 cards here, then God knows how many are on the new games. Because this was the second series of Yu-Gi-Oh! And they're on like, I think that goes up to the 6th one. So, and there's 2 more since. Yeah. And manual and the disc. So good to finally get an English one. And the other one is actually a game I also used to have. Don't know what happened to it, but I know mine at the time was American, and I bought it because my cousin had it. And it is Yu-Gi-Oh! GX again, Spirit Caller. So this one I think follows the plot of the anime, if I remember rightly. It's based on the 2nd series, I think, because that guy's wearing yellow, and I know he goes blue. But it's still pretty cool. Again, no cards, but I already have them. Because I assume probably I got the American game. But there you go. And this one also has over 1,400. So 1,000 less. So, yeah. And again, complete. With like the same picture like 3 times. Like cover, manual, and the inside. So they clearly like that picture. So yeah, as I said, this is the 2nd series of Yu-Gi-Oh! And focusing on like a school academy kind of thing. It's a pretty good series. Not as good as the first. My first one is my favourite. But still pretty good. Yeah, that's the handheld stuff I was going to show. Now onto the console games. And as I said, there will be more because there's other stuff I picked up from the gaming market, but I can't remember what. I know I got some Japanese stuff though. So that's helpful. I might show it in a video. Maybe. And now I said that, we might as well start with a couple of bits from the market, which are a couple of Xbox games, the original Xbox. And they're both ones I had actually been looking for a while. Partly one of them, franchise I like, another franchise I'm looking for games for, to be fair. And the other one because it's me, which could mean anything to a lot of people. The one for the series, £4. I mean, it's not in the best condition up here, but it's good overall. Is Star Wars Republic Commando, which I didn't realise was only on the original Xbox. I've got the Switch re-release, the physical one, with Racer that came out. But I kind of wanted the original. So, yeah, £4. I think you just basically get a troop of, well, commandos around doing missions in the Star Wars universe, really. It is complete. I've heard good things about this, so just need to really give it a go. I mean, you get to battle enemies, so brutal Trandoshan mercenaries. I can't think what the Trandoshans look like. It's familiar though. And the insects of Geonosis. So the insect things from the end of the Attack of the Clones, if you're not sure who I mean. Interestingly, it does say encounter new vehicles, locations, and enemies from the upcoming film, saying there's a prelude to episode 3, which is Revenge of the Sith. So potentially we're looking at what? Mustafar? Nice lava planet. So yeah, happy to have that, especially for £4. The other Xbox game, as I said, it's me. What do you expect? Yeah, it's Playboy. Nice pink. I knew it was a thing. I had to get it, really. Because why not? It'll go with the other games on the Xbox. So we got BMX XXX, Lazy Suit Larry, Magna Cum Laude. Actually, I did get a couple more Switch games, which were Boo Party and Slime Girl Smoothies, to add to my adult Switch game collection. So, yeah. You get to create your fancy Playboy mansion and run the Playboy magazine. So I think I'll give this a go. And this is the best looking disc ever. Look at that pinkness. Yeah. You want to be Hugh Hefner? There's your game. There's your game. Another thing I've been doing is trying to get a couple more exclusives for my PS3 and PS4. That's what I decided there were 4 exclusives. So I managed to pick a couple more. I think I ended up paying like £4 most for all of these or something. So yeah. The first one is Killzone, which was £1 from a charity shop, and I opened it and there was no disc. They had other PlayStation 2 games, which I already had, and I just thought, you know what, let's check them. And sure enough, in one of the other ones, I can't think what it was the disc for this. So, yeah, and it's complete. So now I own Killzone, and what else? Killzone 2. Picked this up literally 10-15 minutes after Killzone 1. Not in a charity shop or CX, although it was right by a new CX, so I've discovered it's near me. But there's a nerd shop which literally has like manga, anime, figures, games, trading cards. So it's about an hour or so to get there by bus, but it's good to know it's there. And I'll go back there when I'm off. And they had that for £1. So there's number 2. And now a quick story about number 2. So I saw it in a CX near me. I grabbed it, I put it down, and I was spent the next 15 minutes wondering where the copy of Killzone I picked up was. Said, I can find 2, I can find 3, I can't find Killzone 1 that I put down somewhere. I looked everywhere. It wasn't until I looked afterwards I realised that Killzone 1, one I showed earlier, was only on PS2, and it had been that the whole bloody time. So that was a fail. And then a couple of weeks ago I picked up number 3. So now I've got the set. And again, complete. So I've got the 3 of them. All exclusive, so it adds to that. That's really what I'm trying to go with PlayStation now. Exclusives. Partly because it's my least favourite sort of consoles to play on. But there are exclusives I want. Need the console for it. Gives me something else to do. Allows me to stream to YouTube. Not that I have yet. So I intend to go more on my PS3 and PS4. And potentially PS2, etc. So as you can see, I've got a few games here. Actually, there is one game I want to show from the market. So we saw this at Alan's Japanese Retro Game Store, and it was that. Yeah, even the manual's a bit weird. It's actually a Mahjong game. It's like Street Mahjong 2 or something. It was like £1 or something. But that front cover is just like, huh. So yeah. Last couple of bits, which are the other non-gaming related bits. So one of the other things I have been doing more lately, away from, I said, technology, internet, or whatever, is reading. And not my manga, because I have been reading a lot of my manga in the last couple of months actually. And in fact I only got a new one yesterday, I think it was. But I'm talking proper reading, like proper books. So I've been reading some old books I have, for example, and this proves A, how much of a geek I am, B, how much of a nerd I am, and really confirms I'm a Trekkie. I picked this up from a library about 10-15 years ago for 30p. And it's the most sparkly cover I have ever seen. The physics of Star Trek. And this is old. It's from when Voyager first came out. It's about 95, 96, I think. Published 97. Close enough. Yeah. It demonstrates about all the physics between black holes, transporter, warp travel, shields, and yeah. Quite interesting, actually. Very, very technical. But thankfully, as I said, I like Star Trek, all this physics, space stuff like wormholes and all whatever interests me. And I've had that book for that long and I still read it. I mean, it's got nice little diagrams there. About bending space, some photos. So yeah, I've taken time to read in more books like that lately. And I've had a couple arrive in the last couple of weeks, which aren't actually Star Trek or Star Wars, which I also have. This lot here, which is actually James Bond. I'm trying to get the whole set of books that Ian Fleming wrote. There were 14 of them, and they all generally led to the production of the films, but actually some of them, it's just the name was used. For example, the Spy Who Loved Me book is nothing like the film whatsoever, but the name is used. And some of them were actually short stories and bunged together, and then I think they roughly took the plot and made a film. So I think it's Octopussy and Living Daylights is the last book, and they're put together, for example. But even then, there's quite a bit of difference, I think. But I think there's more in common than there is, say, with Spy Who Loved Me. But the two I've had in the last week actually are very similar to the films. And the first one I got was On Her Majesty's Secret Service. And this was like £4 or £5 on eBay. Pretty good condition as well, actually. There's the side. And you see it's actually got a number there, number 11. So, yep. And then this one's slightly worse condition, but again, about £4. Thunderball. And this one's number 9. So the order is also different. For example, Casino Royale is the first one, and it's actually Live and Let Die, then Moonraker. So, yeah. Moonraker's a good example, because it's got the main villain from the film, Drax, but the story's completely different. Whereas the film went with the whole sci-fi thing of the late 70s, early 80s. This one definitely didn't. I can't remember what the plot is exactly, but I know it's not the space thing from that. Oh yeah, Drax cheats at cards, or saying the missile defense system for Britain. That's it. So yeah, and actually, what I'm doing is I'm going for this particular set. As you can see, they're all the same sort of like pattern on the side. Because there's several versions. Bookshop near me I found has a lot of them. That's where I bought a few from originally. Had this set, had no one with just plain red spines and very simple covers. And some of them are clearly the old ones from the 60s and 70s. You can tell just by looking at the outside of the book, let alone the inside. But I thought I want these patterns because they look quite cool. And they're nice and set with like a band of colour on the top, a separate band in the middle, and another one at the bottom. Yeah, only difference is the problem is the Times released them as well. So there's actually 2 different spines where like this bit's different, this bit's different, and the back's a bit different, like where the barcode is. So I need to make sure I get the right ones, which aren't the Times ones. Partly because the Times ones don't have the book number. But yeah, started buying them, and I read through most of On Her Majesty's Secret Service in one evening, like about a week ago. So yeah, so easy to get carried away. I started, it was about 11 o'clock. Next thing I knew, it's like 1:30. So yeah, I used to be a big reader when I was younger, and I guess it's just always been there, just not something I've always gone into it. I've been playing games and whatever. But every now and then, I get into it, and I get really into it, and that's it. I lose the whole evening. So yeah, it's good though. I like it. And not just because of the, like, oh, I'm going to rely on technology and whatever, but because it could say different. It's like totally different than like just playing games all the time, even watching TV all the times. So it's nice for the variety, I find. Like that, playing a game, watching a TV, building some Lego. It's good to have the variety, I find. I'm really enjoying it. But yeah, I think I've ran it enough now. It's been half an As I said, there's still other stuff I've probably bought I could show, but I'd have to think about it. I know I do have a couple of bits coming. I do have the 64 games I want to show, and as I said, I'm off in a couple of weeks, so I will get stuff then. So there will be more soon. I'm just not sure what or when. But video will be up before too long. It'll probably be the 64 one first, to be honest. But yeah, I apologise it's been a long video, but thank you for watching. It really means a lot. And I'll catch you in the next one. Goodbye.